today, we give thanks for the gifts that you have given us. We ask for your guidance in our lives, along with your blessings and our prayers to all Marines and Corpsmen, past and present. Bless and watch over all the other men and women who serve in our military throughout the world. Amen. Cooper's Troopers was founded in 1996 by Ed Cooper, who was a retired police officer and Marine Staff Sergeant. He started meeting with several other Marines each month at various restaurants in the Denver metropolitan area for each other's company. Since that time, 29 years ago, this small group of Marines and Corpsmen has grown to over 250 members and has come to be known as Cooper's Troopers. Ed served with distinction in the Marines from 1944 to 1962.
Smoky Hill Quilt Club, along with the Quilts of Valor Foundation. Now, nobody does this work in a vacuum. It takes 40 to 60 hours to make each one of these quilts. So I want to introduce you to a couple of ladies who are here today to help us with this presentation. First of all, we've got Colleen McKinney. Colleen, come on up. Colleen is relatively new to our quilt club, but man, has she come in and has done an amazing job. She's just come in, and I'm just so excited to have Colleen here with us. I also want to thank Cindy Schaefer. Cindy Schaefer is here. Thank you. Our little quilt club consists of 99 ladies and 2 good men. And those are the people actually that make these quilts that you're going to be seeing today. So first of all, before I get everybody up here, I want to tell you a little bit about how all this got started. All this got started in 2003 by a wonderful woman by the name of Catherine Roberts. Catherine Roberts was a mother, she was a quilter, and she was a nurse. And in 2003, her young son came flying into the house and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to join the Marines. Can I get an hoorah?" All right. You guys, nobody knows to do the hoorah whenever I say that. Anyway, thank you, Cooper's Troopers. So anyway, he came flying in one day and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to join the Marines. I'm going to get my education paid for, and I'm going to see the world." Now, she was very happy with his decision because they came from a very long line of men and women in her family who had served. So she wasn't surprised. However, what she was surprised about was the timing. In 2003, things are really starting to heat up in Iraq. And so with that, the magnitude of what this young man had signed up for is now coming to the forefront. He's getting a little more nervous, a little more anxious, a little more uncertain about his fate. Catherine Roberts saw this, and she wanted to do something, but she didn't know what to do. So she went to bed and she had a dream. And in the first part of Catherine's dream, she sees her son. He's sitting on his bunk. He's visibly shaken. He's visibly nervous. And just like this, ladies and gentlemen, in the blink of an eye, in the next part of Catherine's dream, she sees himself wrapped in a quilt. Now that quilt represented more than just a blanket. That quilt represented home. It represented safety. It represented security. And that's where it all started. Now, people ask me all the time, well, what constitutes receiving the Quilts of Valor? Is it my MOS, my DD-214? Is it my rank? What makes me worthy of this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, every one of you, whether or not you are the captain or the cook, or the corporal or the commander, each one of you had to raise your right hand and say unequivocally that I will support and defend the Constitution against foreign and domestic terrorism. That is what made you worthy of receiving the Quilts of Valor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've never served, so I will be forever grateful, because it's only by the grace of God and everybody who has served that I get to enjoy the freedoms that I do. And so this is a very, very special and very, very important process for me in my life, is because for at least I can give back. A Quilt of Valor is a gentle hug from a grateful nation to thank you for your service to our country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the hardest part of our job is not making these beautiful quilts that you'll see here in a little bit. The hardest part of our job is getting veterans to let us honor them. Our veterans are a very, very quiet group of men and women who only wanted one thing, and that was to serve their country, to do their duty, and to get back to their own lives and their own families. It's a very, very humbling group of men and women. But like I said, because I've never served, this is my way of saying thank you for protecting me, somebody that you didn't even know. So today we have 11 veterans that have allowed us to honor them. Mr. Steve and Tim, if we can get you to come up, please. You get that green thing out of your teeth, okay? All right. And then we're going to have, this is the way this is going to work. Steve and Tim are going to stand right over there. Oh, you want to say something? Okay, Steve and Tim are going to stand over there. And then as we call your name up, we are going to have you stand over there as well. And then Steve and Tim, your very own, are going to wrap you in this beautiful quilt. So with that, looks like Tim's got something he wants to share. So here it is, Tim.
Well, okay. Well, just as something I'd like to point out, the Quilts of Valor program is across the country. I contacted Jan. This is very important to me, and I think others will be too. I asked her if it could be arranged for my brother, who was in the Air Force, lives in North Carolina, my sister who lives in Virginia, who is in the Navy, and my brother-in-law who is in the Army, who lives in upstate New York. Well, I'll be darned. Let's just move on with it and just say she made it happen. She had people from those areas deliver the quilts, go through the routine, put it on film, and they were blown away. And it's just, so it's something to keep in mind. This can be done throughout the country, throughout relatives. I know it was a pain in the neck, but thank you so much for that. That's all.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, I didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is our 69th presentation since September 1st of last year. Our fiscal year runs from August to September. 69th ceremony, and Cindy has been with me for every single one of them, but over 416,000 Quilts of Valor have been awarded nationwide. Isn't that a great number? And I cannot die until every single veteran is awarded a Quilts of Valor. You have some of our cards on the table, so please make sure that if you have loved ones who have not received a Quilts of Valor, just like what Tim said, it doesn't matter if it's Colorado, if it's up New York, this is a nationwide program, and we will make it happen. We'll make sure every veteran is receiving of a Quilt of Valor. So with that, let's go ahead and get started, okay? Our very first recipient is Mr. Doug McCormick. Mr. McCormick, can we get you to come up, please? And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Mr. Doug McCormick. Mr. McCormick, you want to stand right there? There you go. There you go. That's your quilt. Mr. McCormick was in the Marines from 1966 to 1972. His rank at discharge was sergeant. He's active reserve, 4th Division, 2nd Battalion, 25 Marine Company H. He served 6 months of active duty and 5.5 years of active reserves, meaning 1 week in a month and 2 weeks each year, other than 2. 72-hour call-up notices in 1968 was the closest that he got to going to war. I may not be eligible or the most deserving. Mr. McCormick, that is just not true. So, go ahead.
Doug McCormick, the Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor. Thank you for your service.
Now, Mr. McCormick, we also have another little parting gift for you, and we call this the hideous pillowcase. This pillowcase was given to you for one reason. Oh, I should have told you, there is a catch. There's always a catch to receiving something, isn't there? To receive a Quilt of Valor, we give you this hideous pillowcase, and we just ask one thing, is that you use this quilt. This pillowcase is Brooke. He was in the Army from 1964 to 2002. His rank at discharge was colonel. He was in Army, Ordnance, and Artillery. He was 3 years enlisted, and he was commissioned military police. Combat engineers, psychological ops, director of enlisted courses, reserves, combined armed staff leader, and provost marshal at FAMC. He retired on September the 25th, 2002, after 38 years of service.
The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor. We need this.
Mr. Michael Pohl was in the Marines from 1965 to 1971. His rank at discharge was sergeant. He was an artilleryman assigned to the 1st Ordnance Field Maintenance Company and did one tour in Vietnam.
Michael Pohl. The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor. Thank you, sir. Welcome home. Let's do that again. All right. Sir, here you go. Thank you so much.
He was in the Navy from 1955 to 1956. His rank was FT2. In January 1955, John entered boot camp, and after completing boot camp, he went to Fire Control Tech School. In June 1956 to February 1959, he served aboard the USS North Compton, a Navy Commander light cruiser. Go ahead, please.
John Guarantire, the Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor.
That's it.
Thank you, sir. Received a Purple Heart, and those that have received a Purple Heart on their label, you'll see that on there, and it gives me no pleasure to put that on there. I shed a little tear every time because you know what that means. Somebody got hurt, and I'm so sorry that. But I want to tell you a little bit about him. Okay. He was a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps. He was awarded 1 Purple Heart for combat wounds during the first tour in RVN with K374, U.S. Marine ACTDU, that's 1965 to 69. And he enlisted in the U.S. Marines from Hawaii in 1965. After boot camp, IRT, and advanced infantry training held in 0331. A machine gunner was his MOS, including during 2 tours, RVN with K-37 and C-127. That was in 1966, 67, and 68. After RVN stationed at Marine Base, Hawaii, he held a job as NCOIC, Air Wing Armory, until he was released from ACTDU, active duty, in 1969. He joined the Honolulu Police Department and retired with the rank of sergeant. He was later invited and helped set up the first Honolulu Veterans Court under Judge Ed Kubo. He moved to Colorado in 2018, and he's been active in Cooper's Troopers, the Marine Corps League, and the 1st Marine Division Association, the Rocky Mountain Chapter. Hoorah!
Hoorah!
Go ahead.
Okay. Veronica Tile. The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and the service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor. Thank you, sir, and welcome home.
Thank you.
Also notice,
Aloha!
get on the corner, you'll see the label and the Purple Heart. So, okay,
We recognize that.
this is yours.
Air Force from 1978 to 1991. His last rank was captain. He graduated from the U.S. Air Force Academy in 1982 and immediately embarked on his decade-long career. His first assignment as a T-37 instructor pilot, conducting primary jet training for 4 years. His follow-on assignment was an RC-135 pilot with a tenure of an additional 4 years. During those years, conducting strategic reconnaissance, he flew approximately 1,500 hours in every military theater worldwide, covering military events such as the loss of a Soviet submarine off the coast of Norway and various other Soviet peacetime exercises. Mark finished his career with multiple combat sorties, including over 183 hours of actual combat time during Operation Desert Storm in 1991. His accolades include multiple air medals for exceptional meritorious achievements in flight, both in peacetime and in aerial combat. After separating from the military in 1991, Mark carried the skills he learned while in the service forward into his 3-decade-long civilian career as an airline pilot, carrying passengers to important milestone moments in their lives. He recently retired and is now living in Centennial with his wife Judy and son Cameron, and is pleased to have his 3 other adult children living nearby.
Simply fly.
The Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilts of Valor.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for your service.
Thank you. Welcome home. Thank you, sir. Jack Walker was in the Army from 1966 to 1968. Following college in June of 1964, Jack joined Marathon Oil Company in Findlay, Ohio, in the computer group. In November 1965, Jack received notice that he was drafted into the U.S. Army. He then enlisted in the College Option Officers Candidate Program and began his military journey on February 21st, 1966. He graduated first in his OCS class in 2 courses, Gunnery Fire Directive course and Forward Observer course. He was commissioned in December 1966 and was assigned to a Pershing missile battalion in Germany. When deployed on a missile site as a second lieutenant, then as a first lieutenant, he was responsible for 4 Pershing missiles that were in 24/7 readiness to launch. Near the end of his tour, he was assigned the Nuclear Weapons Group responsible for monitoring the safety and physical conditions of the weapons in the battalion. He was discharged in December 1968 after 2 years and 10 months of service. Then he returned to Marathon Oil to resume his career.
Jack Walker. The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor. Thank you, sir, for your service. You're welcome home. There's your certificate. Thank you. And this goes with it.
What's that?
That's, your quilt goes inside of it just to protect it for your ride home. But please use the quilt.
You have received a Purple Heart as well, so thank you, Mr. Decker. He joined the Marine Corps on December 11, 1967, and received his recruit training at Parris Island, South Carolina.
Okay.
His first duty assignment was to Fox Company 27 in the Republic of Vietnam in May of 1968. He was wounded in November 1968 and medevaced in May 1969. In January 1970, he returned to Vietnam, this time with Mike Company 3.1. He rotated back to the States in February 1971. He was assigned to Lima Company 3.5 in June 1974, and in April 1978, he was assigned to attend drill instructor school at Parris Island, South Carolina. Upon completion of that tour, he spent time with the MCB, Camp Pendleton, MCB, Camp Smedley, D. Butler, Marine Corps Freight Office in Oakland, California, and retired from the MCAS, Beaufort, South Carolina, in 1988 as a Master Sergeant. Semper Fi.
John Decker, the Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you the Quilts of Valor. Thank you for your service.
'89 to 1998. His rank of discharge was E4. He was born on the island April 1990 and served with Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 25th Marines, 4th Marine Division as an 0311. Supported Operation Desert Storm, Operation Battle Griffin in the Antarctic Circle, Operation King's Guard in Central America on a 30-man MTT, and a Joint Tank Task Force, JTF, 6 on the border on rotating 2-man LPBOPS. Okay, all right. He did a lot. He did not deploy to the sandbox and did not see combat. However, He was notoriously promoted to E3 and then E4. He received an MUC for operations on the border. His middle namesake, PFC Charles Homer Vale, killed in action, 21st December 1966. His motivation to join the Corps, Semper Fi.
Dan Eyeball, I'm gonna say Islandi.
There you go.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, as an expression of our gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ladies.